All right. Hi, Kettlebell Kings fam. My name is Hallie, and I am here today to do a live workout with you. We are going to be doing a Turkish get up focused workout. So I'm going to be introducing some mobility drills, some shoulder stability drills, some overhead pressing variations to really warm up for the Turkish get up. And then we're going to get into the actual Turkish get up together and really try to enhance that for you to make it feel more stable, to just make it overall feel more strong. I love the Turkish get up. It's just a great way to, check in with your whole body. I love to do it at the beginning of my workouts, at the end of my workouts too, as a finisher for endurance. There's just so many ways to do your Turkish get ups, and they're just overall really fun. They're also a great way to get up and down off the floor, which is super essential, especially as we age, to learn how to do that safely. And so I'll be sharing with you a different get up variation toward the end as well. It's a little different, and maybe you guys will like to include it into your workouts. Okay, so we're going to get started with a shoulder mobility drill. So what you're going to need for this is just your body, and you're going to need one kettlebell today and a yoga block. But if you don't have a yoga block, that's okay. Let me just slip my sandals off here. I'm up in Washington, just off the Puget Sound. It's a beautiful sunny day. Hope you guys are having an awesome day yourself. Okay, so we're going to start to enhance our Turkish get ups by addressing our shoulder flexion range of motion. So, the shoulder flexion is the ability for your arm to reach up along by the side of your ear. You want that ability to have full access in your Turkish get up as you load with a kettlebell overhead, making sure that you're not going into spinal extension or rib cage flare. You want to keep that all aligned, pelvis, rib cage, shoulders all stacked on top of each other. So we're just going to go through shoulder mobility range of motion, just going through our full range. And we're going to do it on hands and knees just to make it a little more challenging for fighting against gravity. So just bring your wrists right underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. I like to curl my toes under to make my feet a little more active. And just make sure your rib cage is drawn in and up. And you're going to reach one arm forward. I'm starting with my left arm, thumb up toward the ceiling. Keep that abdominal wall braced and lift your left arm up as high as you can by the side of your left ear. And now from here, internally rotate through your shoulder. Pinky turns up toward the sky. You're going to start to sweep the arm up and back. Keep internally rotating, making sure your chest is staying square to the ground. We're not rotating the T spine open. You're getting into your shoulder extension now. Your tricep is engaged. You're lifting that thumb up toward the sky. Just take a breath here. And now we're going to reverse it, externally rotating through the shoulder. So our bicep rotates open. Get it open as much as you can. Start to sweep the arm back forward, bringing your bicep all the way back by your ear. Keep lifting it up as high as you can, and then lower it down. We'll do one more rep like that, just keeping everything else stable. Here we go. Keep that rib cage braced in. I'm actively protracting out of my opposite shoulder and scap. Once you get up into shoulder flexion as high as you can, internally rotate through your shoulder. Start to spiral that tricep up behind you, reaching that arm back as far as you can, getting into your shoulder extension. Pause right here, feel that tricep engage, and then start to externally rotate through the shoulder, reversing our rotation all the way back up by our ear, and then lower that arm down. Nice. So now you're going to need your yoga block, or you can use any small object. And we're going to do some shoulder hovers over the block, laying down on our stomachs. Okay, so I'm going to put my yoga block just to the outside of my left wrist. We're doing the same arm that we just did the shoulder car on. Okay, so yoga blocks here, or maybe a water bottle or a shoe. My opposite hand is going to go underneath my forehead. I'm bracing my rib cage in, taking a big inhale, bracing my whole body into the floor. I'm going to exhale and lift my left arm up into that shoulder flexion. Hover it over the yoga block, back down with control, and then reverse it. Exhale, hover over the block, and control it down. Okay, we're going to do just 2 more reps, making sure nothing else in the body is changing. I'm just maintaining my stacked position. and trying to, if your object is too easy, maybe to its highest height if it's a yoga block, or turn your water bottle directly up, or use a tall kettlebell to hover over. We want to access a challenging range of motion as we hover over the block. Cool. So that was 3 reps, just going back up and over. We're going to just turn the other way and do the shoulder cars now on the other arm in that tabletop position before we do the hovers, okay? Just warming up the range of motion. So get back on hands and knees, stack your shoulders above wrists, your knees right below your hips, brace your rib cage in and up, protract out of your scaps, reach your right arm forward now, thumb up toward the sky to start, and now sweep that arm up along the side of your ear. Internally rotate once you can't get any higher. Start to reach the arm up and back behind you. Keep internally rotating, spiraling your tricep up behind you. Hold there in your shoulder extension. Take a breath. And now reverse it. Rotate the bicep open as much as you can. Then start to sweep the arm all the way back forward and keep lifting the arm up as you reach it forward and lower down. Take a breath. And now one more rep. Just getting as much range of motion as you can, guys. Keeping everything else stable. Your T-spine is staying square to the floor. Your pelvis is square to the ground. Nothing else is moving open. We're just getting that full range in our shoulder. Now externally rotate through the shoulder to reverse. Sweep the arm all the way back by your ear. Keep lifting up. Keep that rib cage packed in and lower down. Good. Now take your object for the hovers over. We're going to do 3 reps again, just like the other side, laying down on your stomach. Toes are pointed out. Okay. And feel free to start at a lower height with your object. I just know that my range of motion is pretty good, so I want to use a challenging height, making sure that I am getting full muscular engagement. Exhale as you lift, lower with control. We don't want any crash landings. We want to feel that engagement in our shoulder, in our bicep, in our upper traps, right? We're trying to work those muscles to access a deep range of motion actively rather than just stretching the arm passively. This is going to improve our range of motion in an active way, making more accessible, safe range of motion. That was 3 reps. Go ahead and come up. Awesome. Okay, so now we're just going to do one more thing to really warm up the shoulder joint, and that's the arm bar. And then we're going to get into a strength circuit with some different press variations. So these are just things that, oh, I got leaves all over me, sorry. These are just things that I like to do to really warm up the shoulder joint. But of course, you know, there's other mobility drills out there as well. These are just some of my go-to ones that I do a lot for myself and with a lot with clients as well. Okay, let's see. I'm going to face you at first. So we're going to get into the arm bar together. Always start in a fetal position, just like you would for your Turkish get up. Okay, so I have my kettlebell at my chest, bottom arm is hooking around the handle. And this is going to be about 30 seconds that we're going to hold it. So make sure it's a safe weight for you. You want it to feel challenging, but not too heavy where you can't hold it stable, because it is, you know, a quite precarious position if it's too heavy and you don't have control. So other hand's just going to wrap around the fist. I'm going to turn and press the kettlebell up as I turn. So I'm going to exhale, press it up. This same leg is bent, the side that has the kettlebell. My knuckles are pressing up toward the ceiling, wrist is straight. My opposite arm and leg goes straight on the floor. Now I'm going to initiate the turn into the arm bar position with this bent leg's foot pressing down into the ground. And I'm going to turn my hip to the side. My wrist stays above my shoulder the whole time. Now I'm going to bring that bent leg in front of my straight leg on the floor, and we're going to hold here. Okay, so I'm just gazing up at my fist at the kettlebell, keeping a nice stable position. I'm breathing easy. I'm trying to externally rotate through my shoulder to get my shoulder to drop down away from my ear. And I'm just trying to keep it stable. There's a lot of little, you know, like quivers and trembles maybe, because those stabilizer muscles, those small muscles, are doing work to keep the weight of the bell steady. Take a few more breaths here. I don't have a timer, so I feel like that was about 30 seconds. You're gonna bring your left leg, your bent leg back first onto the ground. Slowly turn with control to your back, and then bring the kettlebell down as you turn back to fetal position. We're gonna drag the bell around our head to get to the other side, okay? So always drag the best for safety. Here we go. So right hand has the kettlebell handle now, and we are gonna press it up, bent leg, foot flat on the ground. Opposite arm and leg are in a nice long line. Now I initiate with that push through my foot. My hip drives across, my pelvis stacks, and I bring that bent leg down on the ground. And I'm just looking up with my head turned toward the kettlebell. I'm stabilizing as best I can, trying to drop my scap down my back, find my lat engagement. My serratus muscle is engaged here as I pack that lat down. And I just breathe easy. Good. Take another 10 seconds. And now with control, we're going to bring that foot back. So you can use that bottom hand to press into the floor to help stabilize you as you bring that right foot, that bent leg back behind you. And now turn to your back with control. Bell stays above the shoulder. And then bring it down to the side. Cool. So that's the arm bar. If you don't know or you've never done the arm bar before, it's a great drill to do to warm up your Turkish get ups and just really feel that stability work in the shoulder joint. Just gonna double check, make sure there aren't any questions here. Yeah, shoulder mobility is key for sure. Okay, we're gonna get into some press variations that I like to do to really teach the position in the Turkish get up that you're going to be in the half kneeling position. It's nice, a nice press variation. It's called the tripod press. So we're going to do that together next. And we're also going to do a lunge variation with some dead cleans because we're going to move through a lunge in the Turkish get up too. So we're warming up the components of the Turkish get up to make it stronger and more kind of in our body, right? We're getting that muscle memory going. Okay, so grab a kettlebell that you can press easily, a weight that you can press easily. I'm using the 10 kilogram today, so it's kind of light, but I'm also teaching and talking through everything, so you can go heavier if you want. Okay, here we go. So to set up your tripod press, you're going to be in a half kneeling position, but instead of being squared off to the front, you're going to take this front foot and move it open to the side. So if you've done Turkish get ups, you'll be familiar with this position because in a Turkish get up, as you come up off the ground, you hit this position to come up, right? Or on the way down, right? You're in this open position with the leg as you trace your hand down and come down to the floor. So now we're going to just take that little moment and turn it into an overhead press. So I'll just demo a rep for you guys. We're going to start with the bell here just to clean it up, okay, into your rack position. This opposite hand, I just like to hold at my chest, pretending like I have a bell there to just have that stability, okay, and a little tension in that side of the body. Now I'm going to press the kettlebell up as I bring this opposite hand down to the floor in front of my knee. It's going to come right underneath my shoulder, okay, so I'm going to inhale and then exhale and press. And then I'm just rotating back to center and bringing the kettlebell back to the rack. Okay, so we're gonna do 8 reps of that together. One thing I just wanna show you guys, I'm gonna show you, sorry, I'm gonna show you a rep from this angle so you can see what my hip is doing. Okay, so as I press the kettlebell up, my hips are gonna hinge back toward my heel and my hand is coming down to the floor. And notice that I have a nice long line from my hand, my knee, and shin all the way to this back heel, right? It's a line of limbs, right? So you're gonna find that position and then you're gonna come back up and stack your body, making sure rib cage, pelvis, knee is all stacked. Okay. All right. So let's do 8 reps on the first side. Take about, 15, 20 seconds to switch, and then we'll do 8 reps on the other. Okay, you don't have to bring the kettlebell back down in between each rep. We're just gonna start with it here, clean it up. Okay, and now 8 reps together. Big breath in here, fill up your rib cage with air, and rotate and press that bell up. and come back to that rack position. Okay, 7 more. Make sure you're hinging your butt back and rotating your T-spine open. You want to find a similar position like you had in the arm bar with the knuckles really pushing up toward the sky. 4 more. Awesome, guys. 2 left. And last rep. Good. Bring the bell down all the way to the floor. And you're just going to switch your legs. Okay. Whew, lots of grass on my knee. Okay. Here we go. So, oh, and I forgot to mention my back toes are curled under toward my shin just because that feels a little more active with that back leg and you can get a little engagement and stability there. So it's up to you, of course. You can have your back toes pointed. All right, here we go. Clean the bell up for this opposite arm. And 8 reps. Take a big breath in. Exhale. Rotate and press. Come back to your rack. Inhale. Exhale, press. Finding that nice line on the floor, that hand, knee, and foot all in a straight line, and that stacked position with your top wrist being very stable, pushing that bell up. 3 more. Hinge your butt back every time you press that bell up, and then stack your pelvis underneath your rib cage at the top. Last rep. Awesome. Bring the bell down. Sweet. Okay, cool. Now we're going to go into just a lunge variation with a dead clean next. So I'll demo this real quick. A dead clean is just bringing the bell up into a goblet position from the floor. Okay. So what you're going to do, just have the bell start right in between your feet. You're going to take a big breath in, imagining like you're setting up for a deadlift. Lengthen the hamstrings, tension like you're breaking the bar. Take a big breath in, fill up the sides and back of the rib cage with air, and then stand up quickly, pulling the bell up. And then you're going to lunge and rotate toward the front leg with your T-spine. Press up, opposite side, press up, and then hinge back over, bring the bell down, and we're going to repeat. Okay, so you're doing 1 lunge with that T-spine rotation, and I'll just show you facing this way. Your T-spine is rotating only about 45 degrees, right? So as you step back into that lunge, you're just getting a little bit rotation toward that front knee, about a 45-degree angle. You don't have to rotate all the way to the side, okay? We're not trying to crunch into our obliques. We're just trying to get a little rotation and feel that sense of load going into this front leg's glute from that rotation, and then square off at the top. Repeat the other way. That T-spine rotates, holding the bell. Come up, bring the bell right back down. Okay? Cool. We're going to do 6 rounds together, so just 12 lunges total, 6 to each side. Okay? So you're going to start with that dead clean. We're going to find that power and force production through the ground, pushing down through our feet as we clean the bell up. Here we go. Big breath in, load the glutes, feel that length in the hamstrings. Break the bar, big inhale, and exhale, pull it up. Lunge and rotate your T-spine. Press up. Other leg. Press up. Hinge. Big breath in, repeat. Feeling that rotation, helping load into that front leg's glute. Three more rounds. Two more. Big breath in. Hinge, bell down, last round. Inhale. hinge, and rest. Great. Grab a sip of water. We're going to do one more round of that little superset, the presses in that tripod position, and then the lunge sequence. Okay. Just going to get a sip of water. I'm a little dehydrated today. Didn't sleep well last night. I've got a 13-month-old baby, and he was awake through a lot of the night. So my tank is running low, but I'm feeling good now. It always feels good to move the body and incorporate breath work. Okay, let's go back into the tripod press. Feel free to go up with load with your press if you feel confident with it. Maybe just going up a few kilograms and finding a nice challenging press. I'm going to stick with this weight. Like I said, I didn't sleep very well last night. Okay, here we go. Set up in your open half kneeling position, going into that rotational press. 8 reps. Here we go. Clean the bell up. There. My palm is basically rotated to the side because my chest is opening up to the side, right? So I'm getting that full rotation with my T-spine, and that's helping get that alignment. 2 left. Last rep. Go ahead, lower the bell all the way down. Take a few moments to breathe, and then we'll do the other side. Whew. Just try to breathe into the sides, back, front of your rib cage. 3 breath is super important. Engaging your diaphragm fully. Okay, set up for the other side. Here we go. Clean the bell up. And big breath in here. Hinge, press. Everything's basically happening together at the same time, right? I'm rotating as I'm pressing, as my hips are hinging back, as my hand is coming down to the floor, right? So rather than thinking about it happening all separately, move everything together, all of those components, which might be difficult at first, right? You got to learn the position. You got to think about a lot of things at the same time. 3 more. But with practice, of course, everything becomes more ingrained into our muscle memory. Last rep. Awesome. Bring the bell down. Cool. Go ahead, just take like 30 seconds to breathe. And then we're going to go back into those lunges with the dead clean. And then after that, we'll go into Turkish get-ups. I'm going to walk you guys through the full sequence of the Turkish get-up, just pointing to some key things that you might not know that I see, common errors that I see that we're going to correct. And then we'll do the Turkish get-up all together. Okay, but first, the lunges. Here we go. Stand around your bell. Get into that nice deep hip hinge, loading into those hammies and glutes. Break the bar, big breath in, fill up the rib cage, and clean it up. Rotate your T-spine in that lunge. Stand tall. Other side. Bring the bell down. Repeat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hinge, big breath in. Exhale. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, stabilize. 3 more rounds. Take your time with it. We don't want to just breeze through movement. We want to have the integrity of the muscular engagement, the breath work, the alignment. Everything working together to make sure we are actually getting the adaptations that we're after in a workout, not just a sweat. There's so much more than a sweat sesh, right? I think if you've worked with kettlebells, you know there's a lot of nuance. Go ahead, one more round. Last rep. Bring the bell down and rest. Cool. Just take some time to breathe. And then we're going to do um, some work with the Turkish get up. So, like I said, the Turkish get up, one of my favorite kettlebell skills. And it's something that once you learn, you can do different fun variations with. You can add in presses, windmills, so many things into your Turkish get up, a lot more mobility work and variations with the hips and things like that. But today, first, we'll just go over the, you know, Turkish get up uh, as one solid sequence, and then I'll show you a fun variation toward the end. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a quick sip of water. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if you're enjoying the workout. I'd love to see a thumbs up on there. Whew. And if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, please do. My Instagram is at Hallie, your kettlebell coach, and I have a lot of training tips on there. I also have kettlebell courses online that you can take. You can work with me virtually one on one. I work with clients all over the world, and I love kettlebells. And I like to incorporate a lot of breath work, mobility work into kettlebell training because it all goes so well together and really just makes you a stronger human in general. Okay, so for the Turkish get up, I just want to go over a few quick things. First of all, your setup position is just like in the arm bar where we have that fetal position. I see a lot of people start like this, where they're rolling down into their Turkish get up, or they just start laying down like this and press the bell up and then go. But when you progress, and notice how that looked really messy and weird, right? So when you progress to heavy weights with your Turkish get up, you want to make sure that you are controlling the weight of the bell, that you're doing the movement safely, and you're not going to drop a bell on your face. You know, that'd be probably worst case scenario, dropping a kettlebell, huge metal object on your face. So be smart, set up safely, start in the fetal position. Okay, so just like with the arm bar, bell is close to my center of gravity. I have it pulled in toward me. My top hand's going to wrap around my bottom hand, and I'm going to turn as I press the kettlebell above my shoulder, right? And I'm going to find that more open starfish position. And this arm is matching the diagonal of my leg out to the side. It's like a 45-degree angle from my hip and my arm. Okay. Now I'm going to use my foot to drive my hip across. This is something that I see a lot of people try to do. They try to sit forward and up like a crunch. You're going to want to roll to the side, right? So with your Turkish get up from here, push the foot down just like we did with the arm bar, rotate the hip first, and then get to your elbow, opening your chest fully to the side. See how I have this nice long line from my top fist down through my shoulder and T-spine to my bottom elbow, and I'm pushing out of that elbow just like I would in an elbow plank, right? I'm not sinking into my shoulder. I've got that integrity of my neck position, my shoulder position very strong. Okay. So that's the first thing I want to go over with you guys is just that initiation with the hip and turning the chest across. So we're going to practice that for 3 reps on each side first. Okay. I will start facing you in the fetal position. For the other side, I'll face away from you so you can see the other angle. Okay, here we go. So start, I'm on my left arm. You can start on any side you want, but start in that fetal position. Take an inhale and turn to your back. Set the legs up. Bring the opposite hand down to match that diagonal line. And now take a big inhale. Use your foot to exhale and push the floor away. Turn your hip to the side, just pause there for a moment, looking up at the bell, finding that nice open chest, And then we're just gonna roll back down sideways, basically, to come to fetal. And we're gonna do that 2 more times. And turn to your back, press the bell up, find that nice open position with the leg and arm. Big breath in and exhale, push away the floor with the hip driving across, open chest. Breathe here for a moment, and then control back to your spine. Turn to fetal, and we're gonna repeat one more time on this side. Big breath in, and press, and rotate that hip across, really pushing out of the bottom shoulder. Control yourself back down onto your back, and bring the bell down. Good. Now we're gonna do 3 reps on the other side. So drag your bell around your head. Please don't drag it across your chest. And here we go. Same thing on this side. Turn as you exhale. Find that nice stacked position with the shoulder and the angles of the arm and leg. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Hip drives across. Open your chest to the side. Stabilize. And now roll to your back. Control the bell down to the side, fetal position. And repeat. Turn. Find a placement. Big breath in. Exhale. Open your chest. Control back down. And turn to your side. One more time. Big breath in. And turn to your back. And last time, get that hip to drive across. Open your chest. And control down to your back. And to your side. Cool. Okay. So, as you can see, even drilling just that little part of the Turkish get up can be its own exercise. Now I just want to progress through the next few movements, and I'm going to do it without the kettlebell first. I'll show you from here, right? So we just got to our elbow. We're, pretending that I have the kettlebell here. I just want to show you this hand is going to push into the ground, and I'm going to externally rotate this bottom shoulder. So that way my fingers are rotated back, okay? Now, you don't have to do the hip extension. I just like to because it feels good to get my hips up away from the floor in order to have space to get this leg under, but you can also do it without the hips extending up. I just like this position. It feels nice to extend the hip. And then this knee is going to place underneath the hip. And notice that we're basically in the same position we were for that tripod press. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to send my hips back toward my back heel and then load into a stacked position here. My gaze is now straight forward. I'm going to take this back leg and move it forward to square off, okay? Otherwise, I would have to rotate this foot back and turn this way, but that doesn't really feel good on my knee, okay, especially in the grass here. So instead, I'm gonna just move this front foot and square off here, and then I'm gonna push down and stand all the way up into a nice, tall, stacked position. Bell is pressed up overhead, and then we're just gonna reverse it down, moving through the full sequence. So from here, I'm going to use this foot to just open up, right? And then I'm going to gaze up at the hand as I send this hand just straight down my thigh, out from my knee, hinging my hips back, just like we did in the tripod press. And then I'm going to shift some weight into my hand, leg comes back through, hips lower down, elbow comes down, and then we're going to get to the back and fetal. Okay? So that's the whole sequence. Obviously, that was pretty quick. So if you don't know how to do the Turkish get up, I do have a Turkish get up tutorial I can send you if you want to just plug in your email into the chat. I will email you a full Turkish get up tutorial for free. Okay. I love in the comments, just enter your email and I'll send it to you. Okay, so now we're going to go through the full Turkish get up just once on each side. I'll try to cue you through everything as simply but effectively as possible. Okay, and we're just going to go once on each side without rest. Okay, here we go. So get into your fetal position, whatever side you want to start on. And you're going to turn to your back in that somewhat starfish position. Here we go. Press the bell up as you exhale. Bring that opposite hand down in that 45-degree angle. On your next exhale, drive the foot to the floor and hip opens up to the side. Get to that open chest position. Push down through your bottom hand and rotate the fingers back. Now hips can go up or just sweep the leg back through. And you're going to hinge your butt back toward your heel and then come up to that half kneeling position. I'm going to push down through this front leg now as I stand tall. And we are halfway through. We're going to reverse it. Right leg steps back into that half kneeling position. I'm going to open the leg up to the left. Take my hand, look up at the bell, trace my thigh down to the floor, shift weight into the hand as I snake that leg back through. Hips lower down, elbow comes down, my chest rotates to the side, and I rotate to my back and then to fetal. Awesome. We're going to drag the bell around, do it on the other side. Here we go. Find that fetal position, bell close to your chest. Big breath in and turn and press the bell up. And now we're going to drive that hip across. Open chest. Hand presses through the floor, rotate the fingers back, and then drive the hips up, sweep the leg through. My knee is down underneath my hip. I'm going to shift that hip back, take the weight out of the hand, come up to that half kneeling position. My foot steps in front, and I'm going to press down through that foot to stand all the way up. Now we're going to reverse it. Here we go. Left leg steps back. Open up that foot. Hinge and look up at the bell as this hand traces down and out. Plant it flat underneath the shoulder. Shift weight into it. Leg comes through. Hips come down. Rotate the chest to the side. Keep looking up at the bell though. And then roll to your back. And turn fetal position. Cool. Okay. Just grab a sip of water. I'm just going to check if there's any questions. Someone said Mrs. B. Ah, great. I don't know what that means. Mrs. B, maybe Mrs. Bell. Am I Mrs. Kettlebell? Okay. And then I want to show you just before we finish today, just a different variation of the Turkish get up. So it's just called a get up, not Turkish, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to show you without the kettlebell first. So just move your kettlebell off to the side. We're going to start in that fetal position again. We're going to get into a shin box position instead, and then we're going to stand up. So you're going to start in fetal. Just do this with me without your bell, just to practice. We're going to get into that same starfish position on your back. The hip drive to go across to that elbow. But now from here, I'm going to press up to my hand. And from here, I'm going to pull this leg in and internally rotate this hip to get into a fully stacked shin box position with my rib cage over my pelvis. Now, you can leave the kettlebell up above your head, or you have the option to bring it down to the rack position. And then we're going to shift our weight forward into this front shin and get up onto the shin. This back leg is going to come all the way around to step forward into a lunge. Then we're going to stand up. Then we're going to reverse it down, either kettlebell above you or in the rack. You're going to uncurl those back toes and sweep this foot all the way back around, lowering into your hips. You can press the bell back up here if you had it in your rack. And then we're going to bring the hand back, with the legs back to where they were, to the elbow, to the side, to your back, and then back to the fetal position. Okay, so feel free to just practice this one with me without any weight. I'm going to do it with a kettlebell though next, so you guys can see what that looks like. But because this might be a new sequence for you, at least go a little lighter than you did for your regular Turkish get up if you have a lighter kettlebell, or just do it without any weight so you can learn the sequence, especially if you do have a little bit of tight hips or your internal rotation is a little pinchy in your hip. You want to make sure it feels safe, and you're not going to, fall over in that shin box position. But this is a great, variation with that shin box. It's a good hip mobility drill. I love doing variations of kettlebell work with shin boxes and 90-90 positions because it just is a fun loaded hip mobility drill, basically. Okay, But let's start in the fetal position, okay? I'm gonna talk you through it. Here we go. You're gonna turn to your back, press the bell up just like we do for the Turkish get up. And like the Turkish get up, we're gonna drive the hip across, get to the elbow, press up to the hand. Now from here, I'm gonna bend that front leg. I'm gonna internally rotate my back hip and get into that stacked position. You can bring the bell down to the rack position if you want, or keep it above your head. Get to the shin position, extending the hips. Back foot steps into your lunge. Stand all the way up. And now we just reverse everything coming down. This is the tricky part. You got to really stabilize as you take this front foot now and rotate the leg behind you, controlling down into your shin box. Hand comes behind you, legs open back up. Elbow comes down, rotate your chest, and then roll to your back and turn. Cool. We're going to do it once on the other side. Just bring that bell around, dragging it on the floor. And here we go. Turn and press the bell up and drive the hip across. Get to the side of your chest, elbow pressing away from the floor. Get to your hand. Now bend the front leg and internally rotate your back hip. Come off of your hand. You're in that fully stacked position with your rib cage over your pelvis. You're going to press into hip extension. This back leg is going to step forward and you're going to stand all the way up. And then we just reverse it. Get to that half kneeling position. Uncurl the back toes. This back leg is going to rotate all the way back. Lower your hips down with control. That front leg opens up. Externally rotate your back hip. Get your chest to turn to the side. And then roll down to your back and turn to fetal. Cool. So that's just a little fun variation that I wanted to share. Hope you guys enjoyed my Turkish get up workout. That's going to be it for today. Keep practicing on your own, making sure that you're taking your time to learn the positions, that everything feels stable. Get that mobility in your shoulders first, right? We want to keep the rib cage stacked over the pelvis. We want that shoulder flexion accessible without sacrificing our spinal alignment. That's super important. And just being able to do these variations will, help keep you mobile as you age. You're going to be a strong parent, a strong grandparent, playing with your kids on the floor, being able to get back up after you fall down, things like that. So, we all want to age with grace, and I say age with strength. That's super important as we get older. So, yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm going to be doing another Instagram and YouTube live workout with Kettlebell Kings soon. And yeah, just make sure to follow me on Instagram at Hallie, your kettlebell coach. And I hope to see you guys then. Actually, I'll end with just entering my Instagram into the chat so you guys can find me. And like I said, if you want the YouTube tutorial, I have it. I can email it to you. Just put your email in the chat and I will send that to you ASAP. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.